wonderful speeches. I still remember Red Sides, and then he also gives hiking speeches, so how can I not love this guy? I think today he's going to have a great speech on challenges. Please welcome Michael Somps.
Think back on your life when you were faced with a challenge that was scary. Did you take it on? I'll bet if you did, you discovered something about yourself. We all have these daunting challenges in our life that come along. They're just lined up one after another. You deal with one, and another one steps to the front of the line. Here I am. What are you going to do with me? Whether it's the challenge of raising a family, maybe the challenge of taking a really hard exam at school, or maybe the challenge that I know all of us have had, the challenge of doing our icebreaker in front of a bunch of scary people. Joe Brown said that a challenge is an opportunity to prove your ability to yourself and to others. Well, I had a challenge this past year that was pretty scary. As I think many of you know, I work in the Attorney General's office. And within the office, I work in the gaming division. So my clients are the gaming regulators in Nevada, the Gaming Control Board, the Gaming Commission. And they're really the ones that police the gaming industry. So with them, there's certainly some challenging things that come along. There's a lot of politics, there's a lot of money, there's a lot of influence. Fortunately, up until last year, I had a boss who was there to guide all of us in the division, to advise us, to educate us, and to look out for us, to give us cover, which sometimes we needed. Unfortunately, though, last summer, Mike, that's his name, just like mine, came to the conclusion that it was getting time for him to retire after 30 years practicing gaming law. And the last 10 of those years I spent with him. And for some reason, early on, he took a liking to me and kind of mentored me along. And often, in those years leading up to his decision to retire, he'd tell me, Somps, that's who he always called me by my last name, Somps, when I retire, I'm going to do everything I can to make you chief of the gaming division. And I kind of shrug off his comments and think, he's never going to retire. He loves this job. He's not going to do anything else. But really underlying all of that was my fear of having to face that challenge. But of course, that day did come last summer when Mike came into my office, sat himself down, said, Somps, this is it. I'm retiring. I'm out of here. And then he went on to say again, and I'm going to do everything I can to make you chief of the gaming division if you want it. He said, you're ready for it, you can do it. Well, I sat there, I'm sure, in shock and didn't say anything. And then I just went into denial. And I said, no. You're not retiring. You love this job. You can't go. Well, he can, and he did. And I was face to face with this challenge. Do I want to take over as chief of the gaming division of the Attorney General's office? And of course, a list of things ran through my mind as to why that was a bad idea. Well, there's more stress, there's more responsibility, there's more work, there's probably not very much more pay, and there's probably less job security. I was afraid, ultimately though, to take on this challenge. Now, while I didn't believe in myself and my ability to do it, Mike did. And he not only told me that I should take on this challenge, he told everyone who would listen that I was the person that should do this, including the Attorney General. And so at that point, how could I say no? And I made the decision to face this challenge. And on September 5th of last year, I stepped into that role and became chief of the gaming division. And almost everything that I thought about the job turned out to be true. There was more stress, there was more work, there was more responsibility, less job security, and really probably not very much more pay. But you know what? When I took on that job, I discovered something about myself, that I could do it. I stepped into the role of Chief of the Attorney General's Office Gaming Division, and I did it. And I think I did a pretty good job. The thing is, I only did it for 4 months. As I said earlier, the job came with less job security. And as was his prerogative, the new Attorney General, who was elected and came into office in January, chose someone else to step in and do that job. And I had to step aside. Now, I'd be lying to you if I said I wasn't disappointed. I was disappointed because I discovered that I could do the job. But I don't have any regrets about doing it. It was exciting. It was a short period of time, but it was exciting. It was challenging. But I stretched myself, and I discovered that I had this ability that maybe I didn't know I had. And so I want to tell you that you're going to have, all of us are going to have these challenges that come along in our lives that are going to be daunting. And I think that if we believe in ourselves, step up and meet those challenges, we're going to discover that we're better than we give ourselves credit for. So for all of you, when that next challenge steps to the front of the line and says, "Here I am," I encourage you to meet it. Thanks.